Let's talk. Let's talk about a certain topic that God has placed in my heart to speak about. This certain topic was has actually been on my mind for a while, and it has its own, basically its own verse. And we'll get to the verse, but I just wanted to welcome you. I'm glad to have you here with me again. So today's topic is overcoming sin. Yeah, we've all heard about overcoming sin and how sin affects us one way or another. And I know a lot of people either watching this or a lot of people living their life as they please tend to struggle with sin, especially those who are trying to come to Christ and trying to change their ways. It feels like it feels like it literally gets worse times two. The time you're trying to actually get right with God is, that's when you start to get tempted even more. Well, I can tell you for a fact that that's very normal because that's literally the enemy trying to draw you down and drag you down. Like, one thing I would say about the devil is he never wants to see you better than better than you were. He never wants to let you go because he knows that once you let you go and he knows that once you rely and you start a relationship with Christ, he knows the great things that literally that you will do for the kingdom of God, and the relationship that you have with Christ will blossom. So this is just a little advice on the side. Don't give up on that relationship and stick to Christ. Literally, don't give up on that relationship and stick to Christ. So, today's topic, as it says, is overcoming sin. I will not sit here and tell you that I have figured out a way or a certain aspect on how to overcome sin. Sin is very much inevitable. It's not something you can fight on your own. It's literally not what you can fight on your own. And no matter what, like, I don't know, you can ask people who have been on literally walking with Christ for many years, and they can tell you that even still they do struggle with sin, and still they do have the thoughts and they do have the feelings, and they're humans. That's one thing I have to like literally state is the fact that they're humans. You can't really say that you can. There's an aspect you reach in your walk with Christ that yes, you will get so much better at walking away and so much better at overcoming sin, but it does not mean that it's not there. You just decide that it's better for you to live a life with Christ than to live a life that is filled with sin. So I'm happy for you. If literally you've got this far in your walk with Christ and you still choose to walk with Christ and still say no to sin. But I'm not here to like literally bring you down or literally make you feel horrible that you sinned. You might be watching this video right now and most likely you have actually sinned. And I'm not here to say you don't deserve the love of God and you don't deserve to walk with Christ. But no, instead, if you know you've done something or you know you've sinned practically, no matter the sin you've committed, and you know that today you're living in that whole situation of you're walking away from Christ because you can't control yourself from what you've done or the sins you've committed. But one thing I can tell you is instead of walking away, why don't you try coming to God? Be honest. Why don't you try praying more and being 100% yourself, like being yourself and praying and asking the Lord to come to you? I can tell you for a fact is that a lot of us, a lot of people, it's not a lie, it's not, I mean, it's not hidden at all. It's not hidden. It's out there in the world and it's real. A lot of people struggle with sin and they are still trying to figure out how exactly do they overcome sin, how exactly to get better. And no matter what, I know that the Lord has placed it, like literally giving us an answer. The only way you can actually overcome sin is literally to come to Christ. Talk to God about it, what you're struggling with. Be specific about what you're struggling with. It shouldn't be about beating around the bush or trying to find a way to lead yourself or trying to find a way practically to, you know, do it on your own because no man is an island and nobody can do anything on their own. I mean, yeah, there are certain things you can do on your own, but when it comes to your relationship with Christ, there will be lots of stumbling blocks, there will be a lot of temptation, but you know very well that I'm not saying this by coincidence. Literally, the Lord has placed it in my heart to talk to you about it. There will be a lot of stumbling blocks and a lot of situations that will try and like throw you off your on your track, like literally throw you off. But that's why I'm telling you that you can't do it on your own. Come to Christ and talk to God about it. I know that very well that even till today, no matter how long I've been working with Christ, till today, there are situations where you're tempted, you're frustrated, you're acting literally in the moment, and literally you don't think in that moment, you just act. It happens. And even when you're acting in that moment, literally, you find yourself sinning, or you later on, after everything has gone by, you literally you've fallen into sin again because you've done it once, you do it again. And I can tell you for a fact is you should come to Christ. Ask God to help you, ask God to lead you. But we'll dive in specifically to things that you can do or, how it gets better. So I can say. So today's reading, I have my Bible right in front of me as always. And today's reading is taken from Romans 6, verse 13 to 14. And it says, Never offer any part of your body to sin's power. No part of your body should ever be used to do anything ungodly. Instead, offer yourself to God as people who have come back from death and are now alive. Offer all the parts of your body to God. Use them to do everything that God approves of. Certainly, sin shouldn't have power over you because you're not controlled by laws, but by God's favor. Yeah, that's it. It says you should never use your body, practically never use your body to commit ungodly things. Never use your body to commit sin. And it's easier said than done because I can sit here and say we should never sin and we should go into the world and try our best and push ourselves, but never sin. And it's as easy as saying never sin, but it's not easy as it comes. Every day of our life is a battle. You're fighting one thing or another. Your mind isn't even in the right place and you don't know what to do and you're confused and literally scared and even terrified. But you literally just want to make it easier in life and you want to walk with Christ. You want to take your faith seriously. But here you are starting your journey with Christ or you are on your journey with Christ and then all of a sudden the temptations start to rise and they are rising higher than you can ever imagine, higher than you can control practically. And you wonder what exactly can I do in order stick to the right path. And I can tell you for a fact is one thing I did in my walk with journey with Christ is, as I said in the beginning of this video, I was specific. What the sins I was facing, is it through it like I'll be specific in this moment. I will tell you for a fact is that the devil doesn't just attack your physical self. He attacks your mind, your body, your soul, and literally your thoughts. Like that's your mind. Literally, he attacks all those parts of you. And it can be a thought. It can be literally, it can come in different ways. And don't forget that the devil doesn't just, do it until he knows that you're intelligent enough to know the difference between between a sin or between temptation and between other things. You might think that, or the sin that you might think that, for example, sorry, You have an opportunity literally in your front, and you might think that, oh, this opportunity came at the right time, at the right moment when you needed it the most. But I can tell you for a fact that sometimes, literally sometimes, some things are not from God. That's why it's stated that no matter what you like, no matter what you get, or even the good and the bad, always take it back to God to reveal the truth to you. Always ask the Father in heaven to help you, to guide you, to lead, to like literally reveal it to you. Because as much as we can know the difference between good and bad, God knows deeper. As He says, His thoughts are higher than ours and His ways are far greater than ours. So there's nothing like literally the Lord wouldn't do to help you. So, yeah, let's continue. In the aspect of sin, your physical body is what you commit sin with, our flesh. Our flesh is tempted daily, literally daily. It can even be that you're just home sitting down and you are still tempted and you ask yourself what exactly is going on. But that's the aspect of it. At that moment, one thing I've noticed that helps me is the fact that when I'm like literally in the situation of being like in, let's say, an attack, in the aspect of temptation, one thing I said that will help you is literally calling on the name of the Lord. Is it in a little prayer? Is it literally in your mind just saying, Jesus, take control, Father, take control? And literally, He will show up for you. Because never forget that the Father in heaven lives within you, and not just lives within you, but also is present with you always. And when you call on His name, He will come for you and literally protect you. It's not just, as I say, it's not just in the moment of when you're in danger or when there's a situation or like, it has to be a big situation for me to call on the Lord. Oh, that moment that literally you know that you need Him. You know that you need Him. You know that you're tempted in this moment to commit a sin that you should not commit. Instead of falling back to that sin and going back like in tears, asking the Lord to please forgive you over and over and over again, why don't you just try calling on His name? Because I know that as much as I say this to you, I am also taking it down as an example for myself. Because there's sometimes I'll give an example is when I'm frustrated by something someone did to me and or someone treated me horribly. At that moment, the first thing I do or I want to do is to react in a situation or react in a horrible way or like, you know, give them back what they gave me. Like literally, that's what I want to do. But I know very well that that's literally wrong of me, and I know very well that it can lead me to commit a sin, because what the Lord has stated, He said that when, like, in the word stated that if someone slaps you on your left, you should turn to the other side and let them slap you again. And I know very well that that's practically saying that if someone has done something wrong to you or done wrong by you, let them do it. And I know it's not easy to literally, I know it's not easy to literally allow somebody walk all over you. But one thing I've learned is when something like this happens, I take it to prayer. I literally take it to prayer and ask the Lord to please give me control. And if I do sin in that aspect or in that situation, I know very well to ask the Lord to forgive me. Now, forgiveness is something that we are truly, truly, literally have an advantage to. Is the forgiveness of God. We are truly like open to ask the Lord for forgiveness anytime, any day. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to wait at the end of the day to ask for forgiveness. When you sin in that moment, you ask the Lord quietly, just ask the Lord in your heart, in your mind, just pray it out. Lord, please forgive me for my sins. What I did was wrong. But that's my example. I'm not saying that you can't ask for forgiveness again once the day has come to an end. But I'm just saying, because someone taught me this, someone very important in my life taught me this. Once you've sinned, you should immediately ask for forgiveness. It doesn't have to wait. And literally ask the Lord to take control in that moment. because you don't know the next scenario or the next situation that might come up. So yeah, your body might, like, temptation is inevitable and you might want to sin, and you might want to, like, I don't know how this point, like, how to place this out there in the aspect of when you do sin, there's like a situation whereby I know you have the opportunity to ask God for forgiveness because, God has given us the favor and the grace to ask for forgiveness. The Lord died on the cross and He made us righteous, which gave us the opportunities to ask for forgiveness. So that's an opportunity we have. But I can tell you for a fact that people commit sin and just, they know it's wrong. You very well much know it's wrong. But one thing that they stick by is, even if it's wrong, I know very well that I can ask God for forgiveness. The fact that you know it's wrong is literally even worse. You know it's wrong, but you still commit that sin. That's worse than not even, that's worse than like it being a temptation and literally you just reacting in the moment. You knew what to do at that moment. You knew that you could choose between, good more than evil, but you decided that you rather commit the sin and then you ask God for forgiveness. You know, imagine explaining yourself if God was to ask you, why did you commit the sin? And you're like, oh, I had, in your head, I had the opportunity to ask for forgiveness just because I have that opportunity and I have that grace to ask for forgiveness. Doesn't mean give you like an upper hand to keep committing the sin. And as I said it, like stating it here, sin is not like it's not easy to overcome. And many people make this mistake whereby they state that they can defeat sin. That you can't defeat sin. God can defeat sin. The Lord can defeat sin. You cannot defeat sin because it's, just imagine, it's bigger than you. It's far deeper and bigger than you because, like I said, the enemy doesn't just attack your physical, but your spiritual and your mental. Those aspects of your part of you, those aspects of your life are as important as your physical. So just know that it's far deeper and bigger than you think it is. And what you look at, or it's just, it's just temptation, or it's just, it's just a sin, it's just a little white lie, it's just a little, theft, or it's just a little thing, it won't affect you. It does affect you because I don't know if a lot of people know it, but sin is not measured by how big or how small it is. Sin is sin. And if the Lord was to judge you according to the sins you've committed, it's according to the sins you've committed. Nobody's going to be separated by you committed little sin. So you get to, you don't get such a bad punishment. But you committed a big sin, so you get a bigger punishment. It doesn't work that way. Sin is sin. So what I'm saying is, in this situation where you find yourself where you've committed a sin, or you are battling in the situation, you are battling temptation, ask the Lord to take control, because it's not a battle that you can fight on your own. No one should have to go into the battlefield on their own without any armor, without any skills, or without any protection. And your protection is the Lord. So once you have a situation, you've fallen into a situation where you are, or you're in temptation, or you are in that situation where even when you've reacted or you have committed the sin, ask the Lord for forgiveness. And one thing I will say and advise is, once you ask Him for forgiveness, just don't ask only for forgiveness, but ask Him to help you in the situation. Is it that I get frustrated easily? Is it that I get angry, like, out of the blue, I get irritated? Or is it that, I don't know how to control my emotions? That's it's in the whole in general aspect. I don't know how to control my emotions. Lord, please help me. And he is literally willing to help you and guide you through the steps. So yeah, as it says here, you know, we certainly we certainly have the favor of God. And this favor has given you the opportunity to approach the Father in heaven through the Lord Jesus Christ. Approach Him and ask Him for help. There's so much that you can ask for from God. So don't limit it to just little things. Don't limit it to little things, but dig deep into it and literally use the opportunity you have. And as I always say, try your best, like give the Father in heaven control, and you'll see that it's different. You see that once this temptation comes, it doesn't affect you like it used to, or it doesn't, it doesn't have a hold of you like it used to. Instead, I would, walk with my held head high, that Father in heaven is in control. So I hope that this helps, and at least you've learned something today. And even though just, being here, even if you know this already, being here and just listening is still good. So yeah, thank you for staying this long and this coming this far with me, as I said. And it might not be perfect, but I'm glad to be able to share this message with you. So I love you, but God loves you more.